Hi, today we're going to look at what is an ecosystem. An ecosystem is an area where living things, biotic factors, and non living things, abiotic factors, work together. There is no specific size that an ecosystem needs to be. They can be as small as something like a terrarium that you have at your house, or as large as something like the rainforest. The thing that you are going to have, though, is these living and non living factors that are working together. So, as far as biotic factors, that could be things like bacteria and algae, fungi and plants and animals. Any of those things would fall into the biotic factors for an ecosystem. And we're going to talk more about their jobs and functions in later videos. Today, we're going to focus more on the abiotic factors and what they do for the living things inside an ecosystem. So, when we talk about abiotic factors, there's two different affixes involved in this. The first one is a, which means not. So, if you have something that's asymmetrical, it's not symmetrical. And then the second part is going to be bio, which means life, like biology. And so, whenever you have something that is abiotic, it's going to mean not living. Now, some of our non living factors that are going to be pretty consistent regardless of the ecosystem, although some of them will be more important than others depending on the ecosystem. The one is going to be soil. Soil is going to provide nutrients for the plants, it's a home for a lot of organisms. And so it is going to be a source of nutrients and shelter for a lot of the things that are living. You're going to have the atmosphere. Living things are going to require oxygen or carbon dioxide in order to survive. So they need a source of that. The atmosphere is also going to be part of the water cycle. And so it becomes very important for the living things because it is also part of the water cycle. Our next abiotic factors are going to be heat and light. I've lumped them together because they are so related and both tend to come from the sun, although there are things like geothermal vents that are going to be sources of heat from the inside of our Earth. Almost every example of heat and light in an ecosystem is going to be the sun. And the sun is critical because it gives energy to plants. The plants use carbon dioxide and that energy from the sunlight, in order to make food through the process of photosynthesis. It is also the source of energy that fuels our water cycle and causes all of our weather patterns. So the sun is very important, and that heat and light aspect is important for our ecosystems. The last abiotic factor that we're going to talk about that is important to all ecosystems is water. Some ecosystems will have a lot more of this or a lot less, but it is needed. And without water, everything in an ecosystem would perish because for living things, most of the inside of a cell is composed of water. So if you remember way back to whenever you talked about the parts of the cell and you talk about cytoplasm, that liquidy, gooey stuff that fills each of the cells, that is mainly water. And so, without water for each cell in a living organism, the organism would not be able to survive. So, water is a very important abiotic factor in our ecosystems. Hopefully, this overview of some biotic and abiotic factors and what the definition of an ecosystem is has helped you. And from here, we're going to move on to you looking at how you can create your own ecosystem and meet the needs of an organism yourself in your assignment for today. Have a good day.